Okay, so what we got going on here is I have a bed frame or headboard that will not make it up the steps. So I actually have to cut the ceiling out a bit just so that I can get follow along. And if you have any questions, drop a comment below and please subscribe. There you go. That is a big piece of wood. So I have these big 10D nails that were holding it in place. The biggest reason why I couldn't get it off that easy. But nothing like a sawzall. So as you can see, guys, in the last video, I actually had this closed, and I did tell you I was gonna have to open it up. And so this is what it looks like. It's open, and this is literally the only way that I'm gonna be able to get this bed frame headboard upstairs, which is fine. It looks bad now, but once I put a frame around it, I'll close up the floor again, re-sheetrock it, and it'll be back to normal. But this is what you gotta do sometimes. I'll show you guys how it all looks at the end. Alright. So, what's up, guys? So, here we are back at it. As you can see, I already have some wood in place. And what I'm going to be doing is pretty much framing this out, getting ready for a new floor. It's a subfloor that's going to be underneath here. And we're going to be putting some laminate flooring on the other side of this anyway. This is actually the other room. So, I'm going to be framing this out, clean. That's not how I'm screwed in yet, so that's why it fell. But anyway, I put it there just to make sure that it was where I needed it to be. Anyway, I'm going to be doing that, and that's it. We'll be putting the floor back together. That was me.
Here we go, making really on, getting icy zone, flexing, I've been swerving, make it trendy, we look sexy. Here we go, making really on, getting icy zone, flexing, I've been swerving, make it trendy, we look sexy. It's so icy, 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 on my neck combination, 새로운가 간지 머리 swag, 남들이 잘 때도 쓸어담지, breaking good, life is good, 한동안 잊었어 이 느낌을, for better life, for better life.
So as you can see, we are framing this out and putting some new flooring down, just subfloor. Here we had some planks that were in place before. You see it here, and this is the same thickness as this, so that's a good thing. And we'll be going on top of this later on this floor in this room with laminate. So right here, I put across some 1x2s just to kind of start framing it out. I am going to put double that up and put a 2x4 across here just to give it some more strength. I want to make sure that the floor does not buckle over time in this corner. But you can see everything that had to be removed because this was the angle of the ceiling. So getting anything up these stairs was a real pain in the butt. So it's kind of good now. I'm just going to give it a right angle, 90-degree angle, and it'll be good to go. So
making really on, getting icy zone, flexing, I've been swerving, make it trendy, we look sexy.
We gotta take a night train to the other closed city to rock out this fucking ancient walls. We gotta take a night train to the other closed city to make us dreamers to down in reverse. We gotta take oh, dirty night train, yeah. We gotta take oh, dirty night train.
What's up, YouTube? So just a little quick recap. As you know, I was fixing the ceiling here that comes up the stairway. We had a big headboard that wouldn't fit, so I had to bust open the ceiling. This actually went on a slope, kind of like with the same design as the stairs, but now I'm going to actually square this off. So it's going to be a 90-degree angle, and it's going to give me more headroom. Everybody else a little more headroom. We do have to fix this here, so we're just going to cut this away evenly, and then we're going to sheetrock it. That's pretty simple. Here, kind of went with the old frame that was here, which are the joists to the second floor. Just use some 1x2s because all we're really doing is hanging up sheetrock. No need to get crazy and put 2x4s or anything like that. So framed it out. We're going to be putting sheetrock on this now and finishing up this project today. But just wanted to recap with you guys because this is not a difficult project. If you really think about it, all we're doing now is just taking what was there out, and we are just kind of reframing the whole section here and then putting on the sheetrock. So if you have any comments, if you have any questions, feel free to just click the link below. Also, if you are up to it, definitely subscribe. We have a lot more content coming for you guys. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment, and I'll try to do my best to answer every question that I can. All right. So I already measured this piece of sheetrock here. So I have to just put my line across, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my trusty square. Well, it's not a square, but it's really good for sheetrock. They call it a square. It's not what you would maybe think of a square or a framing square. This is just for sheetrock, cutting wood maybe, but for the most part, it's all for sheetrock. Really good tool to have. If you get a chance to grab one, I definitely highly suggest you grab one of these. Makes life a whole lot easier. All right. Let's try to make the best of it that we can. Now all we're going to do is give it a little score, and scoring it is going to make life a whole lot easier. Literally, you're just taking your blade, just the tip of it, and running it down the line that's set in place. Now, what I'll show you what's going to happen is this little line that we just put here. I don't know if you can see that. It's going to be just that simple, where I'm just going to grab it, and that's that. Then just grab the back side, extend your blade out, and just run right down the line behind it, or the crease behind it. I'll use the right word so you guys understand that the actual line is just a crease. Okay? Now, that's the piece we need. Only thing to keep in mind now is I have these nailers here. So I want to be sure that I'm in the middle of one of these so that there's no issues when it comes to putting this on there and sheetrocking plastic. So I know that this is going to go perfect there, but I have to cut it here. So I'm going to set it up, give it a little line in the middle of the stud. Okay, and this is my clean cut edge, so I'm going to use this to get my square again. You can use your knees, pretty stable. Give it a little cut. Okay, that's nice and scored. And again, same thing, just crack it, and you're good to go. There we go. So we have the exact piece that we need. Grab a couple screws. And as you can see, it's right dead in the center of that wood. So we're going to actually have some space here to put the next piece on, and it'll line up right there. Nice and simple, easy fix, and let's just sorry about that. I have an automatic light in this hallway, so it automatically goes. So just so you guys can see a little bit more. So we have nice flush cut here, right under here. Okay, nice and flush with that. Another piece of sheetrock is going to go here to even out. And then, of course, we have the sides to do as well, and the top. So I'm just going to move forward with this. I'm going to show you guys when it's all said and done, so you guys know how it's done. Just again, like I said, if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Definitely subscribe if you like what we got going on here, and I'll show you when it's all finished.
Песня называется Just a Joke.
Someone save me from all I've done. Please don't blame me for all my past. 'Cause everything we can see is just a joke, nothing more. Everything we call it truth suddenly will kill ourselves. Goodbye, goodbye. The spin is deep inside of me. Wasting time, but it's bad. Not even that can make me feel. Goodbye, goodbye. The spin is deep inside of me. Wasting time, but it's bad. Not even that can make me feel. We're the team, selling lies for ourselves. Killing in the name of the damn loud. Is everything we can see is just a joke, nothing more. Everything we call it truth suddenly will kill ourselves. Goodbye, goodbye. The speed is deep inside of me. Wasting time, but it's fine. Not even that can make me feel. Goodbye, goodbye. The speed is deep inside of me. Wasting time, but it's fine. Not even that can make me feel.
So right now we're doing the spackling, and just so you guys know, in a situation like this, where you have here regular sheetrock and you have spackle walls, sometimes the thickness varies. So you're going to have to apply a lot of compound in order to smooth it out and actually make it look good again. Usually when it comes to small pieces like this, that's pretty easy to achieve. But for the most part, if you know you're going to be doing a big project or making a big hole, it's probably best to just knock down all the plaster walls and just redo it with sheetrock. It can be messy, it can be definitely a pain, but it's the best way to go, just to prevent any issues with doing any spackling. So right now we're doing the spackling, and when you're transitioning from a plaster wall to a sheetrock wall, making it as even as possible is critical. But the good thing is that if you're not able to make it as even as possible, you always have spackle to back you up. The only thing is that you're going to have to layer it and you have to feather it, and there's a little bit of a working process that goes with it. But that's where spackle comes into place, and that's the beauty of it. So I put like over here what's like an edger, just to make it nice and clean, a nice clean line here. Tape here. Now usually I would leave a thin coat and then come back tomorrow, give it a little sand, give it another coat. Today I'm just going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to leave the layer, one thick layer, and then come back, sand it, probably give it one skim coat, and then color it in. So you can do it in reverse. It's not highly recommended, but sometimes, you know, if you're impressed with time, doing 2 coats can work. 3 coats is best. Just depends on the application and, you know, how large the job is. So. And also, this here is an edger. So whenever you're doing a sheetrock repair on a corner, this is good for that. For a corner bead, it's got a bunch of holes in it, as you can see, and that is really to give that nice sharp edge that goes along with a corner of a wall. So keep an eye out for that, and let's finish up this project. Every time you put screws into anything that's sheetrock, you want to make sure that you countersink them. They have to go in where the screw actually bevels inside of the sheetrock just a little bit, because when you come back to spackle this, you want to make sure that it actually grabs it and it's going to be something that's going to be smooth. If it's out, you're always going to have that little bump, and even if you spackle it, you're going to see it raised in that area. So when you sand it down, you're just going to expose the screw. So keep that in mind, guys, when you are doing any type of screwing in of sheetrock, that you make sure that that screw sinks in. A ceiling repair like this is very critical because you want it to look smooth and even. This I'm going to be repairing, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this into a nice square. I'll probably just go right across and all the way down just to make it easier, and I'll put another piece in there, spackle this all up, and we're good to go. I'm opening up this hole right now, making it nice and square so that I can add that new piece that I was talking about earlier. So I'm using my knife. Typically I would use a serrated knife just to get in there. The problem is that I have a another ceiling right above this, which is a whole different story. But essentially, like I explained earlier before in video, when we were repairing this ceiling, I found that there's an additional ceiling underneath, and what they did was they dropped this ceiling down by 1 inch with 1 inch strips of wood and used sheetrock. But above that, there's actually they call it's like plaster walls. So plaster walls usually come in very old homes. This is an old home, but when they updated it, they didn't go through the process of taking all the walls down and putting up new sheetrock walls. They just went ahead and put 1 inch strips across the ceiling and put new sheetrock right on top. So what I'm dealing with here is, if you can see, I have a hole here. Now watch. I'm actually hitting the other ceiling. It's literally 1 inch. So using a serrated knife is not going to help me. So I'm just going to use the blade, since it's such a small square, to open it up, and then I'll replace it. So guys, as you can see, I went ahead and I placed in the 1x2s like I explained earlier before. They already had 1x2 strips up here for the sheetrock. So I put in 2 pieces here, and those are going to be what is going to hold this next piece of sheetrock here. Once I do that, I'm going to spackle all of this, make it nice and even, and we're good to go. All right, and there you go. It's all in place. So now we're going to begin the process of spackling this, and I'll show you guys just how that's done. Okay, so I'm going to use this. I'm just going to whip it up a little bit using the knife. So essentially, we're going to get rid of any thick portions of it and break that down by just spreading it around. It's literally going to feel like cake mix, if you want to call it, right? Icing. There you go. It's still very thick, and it's still going to stay in place, which is a good thing, but it's very creamy now. And I'm going to take this.
Here we go, making really getting icy zone, flexing, I've been swerving, make it trendy, we look sexy. Here we go, making really getting icy zone, flexing, I've been swerving, make it trendy, we look sexy, It's so icy, on my neck combination.
Alright guys, so this is the finished product. As you can see, the ceiling is all closed up. The hole here is patched up, and the edges are all done. So Remember guys, you want to use that piece of edger, just like this. You can get this at the hardware store. And of course, you want to use the spackle knife. And if you can get yourself one of these trowels, that's a good thing too, just to kind of hold the sheet on the stucco or plaster on. And that's it guys. So this is the honeydew list guys. Hope you enjoyed this next segment of videos. Again, if you guys have any questions on ceiling repairs or just general projects that you have going on in your home, please feel free, shoot me a message, comment. Definitely, I hope that if you like it, you'll subscribe, and I have more videos to come. So look forward to doing more projects with you guys. Again, this is Alex at the Honeydew List. Hope you guys have a great day.